Morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, okay.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning.
Quickly, let me share my screen. Okay, so in our last session, we have discussed how stored processor, right? So how actually a stored processor will be created, and how what are all the things that are involved in the stored processor. So we have seen that thing in our last session, but we didn't see how to execute a stored processor. Is it? So let me try to create and execute one. Okay, so here I think in our last session we have discussed what is the stored procedure and how to create it, right, and what is a variable, how to declare a variable, how to set a value to the variable, right? So these all things we have discussed in our last session. Hope everybody understood these things, right? So I will just simply test one, right? So here if you see, I'm just trying to create a table, partitioned table, and then I'm trying to load the data into that table using a insert statement, right? So and this process I'm doing it through a stored procedure. Okay, this process I'm doing with a stored procedure. So here if you see, I'm just creating this procedure. So when you do this, what will happen? So when you run this, so it will try to create the routine or the code, right? It will check all the syntaxes and it will try to create it under your database. Okay, so under your database meaning, so here if you have employee DB, under employee DB, when you create a stored procedure, it will go to a folder called routines. Okay, it will go to a folder called routines. So here if you see under routines, you have things, right? So create and load partition table. So this is your stored procedure. Okay, when you click on this, so you can see all the stored proc info and your code, right? So you can do two things here. One is edit stored browser, invoke stored browser. I mean, you need to call the stored browser to execute it or to trigger it, right? So just you just created it. Okay, you just created it, but you need to trigger it, then only the actual process will start. Okay, so now what we do, we just try to click on this invoke stored browser. So when you click on this, what will happen? So it will trigger this call statement, right? So call is a SQL statement that is being used in BigQuery to run your stored procedures. Okay, to run your stored procedures, right? So when you run it, so what will happen? It will go and start executing the SQL statements that you have in your stored procedures. See here, one is create table, create or replace table. It executed, insert into, it executed, right? Statements processed to, right? So also this is how you need to execute or call a stored procedure. Okay. So any questions, guys?
No, clear.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So I want you to try one use case on stored procedures. So I want you to try parameterized stored processes. Okay, so that is one more concept that we have, wherein you can actually go and pass the parameters to the stored procedure, like the function, right? In Python, what we do, if we want to pass some parameters to the function, we can pass, right? So while calling, we'll pass the actual parameters. So similarly, I want you to try that with stored procedures. You can pass the parameters to the stored procedures, and you can use that parameters inside your stored procedure. So I want you to take some use cases and try to write the stored procedures with parameters, with input parameters. Okay, so that is one task for you. Okay, so now, okay, so we have discussed almost all the core BigQuery concepts, right? So all the SQL is same, guys. Again, I'm telling all the functions in SQL, right? So here and there, little bit modifications in function names. Let us say you have get date in SQL Server. Here you will be having date, right, or a timestamp. So these are few functions you will see the differentiation, but except that remaining everything is similar. You have all the regexp functions, and then concat, split. All these functions are same in BigQuery also, and row number, rank, dense rank, lead, lag. All these functions are also same. Okay, so you just need to apply and try to run your queries, take proper data sets, and then try to run your queries, and just try to refresh your SQL sessions, and practice all those SQL sessions on BigQuery. Okay, so okay, so we already have SQL Server. Why we need BigQuery? So that is one question that you may get. But again, it is all about cloud, right? So we have discussed the BigQuery features in the beginning session itself. So that you just try to refresh that session once and then try to execute the SQL. So that's where you can actually understand the sense of, okay, so why we are doing the same thing in two places, right? So that is something that you need to understand first. Okay, so now we have seen I mean, apart from SQL functions, right? Apart from SQL functions, we have seen most of the things in BigQuery. So today we will try to understand a few inbuilt functions that are available in BigQuery. I'll only discuss few, but you'll be having a lot of functions for everything. You have a lot of functions. It's very hard to discuss all the functions in the BigQuery. Okay, so you have a lot many aggregation functions. You have a lot many pre-processing functions. Okay, so we'll discuss a few of them, and then we will also see how to create a UDF, right? How to create a UDF in BigQuery. Meaning, for example, if you are not capable, or if you're not able to achieve your functionality with the SQL functions that you have, right? Then in that case, you can write UDFs, user defined functions, we call them as. Okay, so custom UDFs. So you can actually put that UDF in your BigQuery space and then execute that UDF or call that UDF when you are writing select queries. That is one process that we will discuss today. And we'll also discuss about a concept of views. Okay, views. So views are very important in any data engineering world. Okay, so we'll discuss the views concept also. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to discuss today, and then we will wrap BigQuery. Okay, fine. So let's quickly understand few functions, right? Few functions that will be useful for you when processing complex data. Okay, so now let us quickly see what are those functions, right? So here, if you see, we have array based functions in BigQuery. Okay, we have array based functions in BigQuery. If you see here, what is this? Okay. Okay, Okay. So I'm just starting it as a fresh thing. So here, if you see, I'm just executing a query called select array underscore length of, I'm passing a array column. Okay. So this is how you can test a simple things in BigQuery. Okay. So you can do that using a normal select also. So it will accept. Okay. So here, if you see, array length is a function which will take a array column as input, and it will give you the length of that array. It's the positioning will start from 1. Okay, so that 1 2 3, how many elements are there, it will give that number. Okay, so when you simply type array, right, see, these are all the functions that you have, right? Array reverse, array to string, array concat, right? And similarly array concat agg, array aggregate, right? So these are all different array type functions, meaning if you have a column with list type or array type data. So in Python, we know list, right? So similarly, we call it as array also. Okay. So that is where if you have a column which holds that kind of a data, list type of a data, then if you want to perform operations on that column, you can use this array set of functions. Okay, so I will give you few functions examples, but remaining I want you to try. Okay, so here if you see array reverse, right? You can reverse an array. BigQuery representation of array is like this. Okay, so you see the row one, the array it will split. It will show you in the form of rows, but it doesn't. Okay, it is not actually the row. Okay, it is a single row. See here, it is a single row, but it will show the collection in like this. The representation of the collection like this. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is array reverse, right? So here I'm passing this hard coded value, right? So in real time, or you can pass a table column also. You can create a table with array type, and then you can store the data in the form of this array, and then you can pass that column. So in some real time scenarios, you may get this kind of use cases wherein you need to find out the length, and then if the length is greater than this, then you need to do some operation. If the length is less than this, then you need to do some operation. So something you will get this kind of scenarios in real time, right? So that's where you can utilize these functions. So similarly, you can see array to string, right? So array to string, this is also one of the uh, most commonly used function. So when you want to convert your array column to a string, right, when you want to convert your array column to a string, then with a delimiter, that is important. So here if you see, I'm just passing a array column, I'm just giving delimiter, right? So when you do this, what will happen? Alright, a string of string, what is it? Why it is giving this? No matching signature for function array to string argument types are to 64. Okay, so the reason is it will only support array of strings, right? So that is why it is giving this. One second, let me check. I will just try to see if I can make them as strings, then it will work. So this kind of data types in real time we call them as complex data types, guys. So when we say the complex data types, so these complex data types are array type, struct type, meaning JSON type. So these are complex data types. These cannot be supported by your traditional database systems, but your data BigQuery and your Hive, all these Snowflake, so these advanced data warehousing systems can support these kind of data types. Okay, so here if you see we used array to string function to convert our array elements to a string value, correct, with a delimiter. So this is one of the implementation. So similarly we'll see few more functions related to the array aggregate, right? So here if you see array aggregate, that meaning, so if you want to do if you want to generate a array for a grouped set. Let us take an example. You have a table called stage underscore emp data. Okay, so what this table have, right? So let us see what this table have. Select star from this table line. Okay, so now if you go and execute the query, so what will happen? So you have all this data, right? So you have all this data. So in this data I have a gender, right? So I want to group by gender and collect all the IDs for that gender, right, into an array, so that I will do some operations on top of that array. Okay, which one has the largest ID, lowest ID, or I'll do some operations. Okay, so the requirement is that. Okay, so now if you see here, you can actually use this array aggregate function to generate an array of IDs for a grouped set. Okay, so that is why we use array aggregate. So if you execute it, see here, for a male gender, it collected all the IDs that are available. Okay, so similarly for the female, it will be doing that. Okay, so this is a array representation. Okay, so this is the functionality of array aggregate function. Okay, so then let's move on to the next function on complex type called JSON. Okay, so here if you see, I have some data. I have some data which is actually having some JSON data or JSON string data, and I want to clean that data, or I want to extract a few attributes from the data, right? See here, you have data in your column like this in a string format or in a string type, and the data actual internal format is JSON, but you stored it as a string type. Okay, so in that cases, how you will parse that JSON data to your BigQuery, how you will make your BigQuery understand that, hey, it's a JSON data, then ask whatever required from that JSON. Okay, see, this is JSON extract, right? So by using this JSON extract function, you can achieve that. If you have a JSON data in a string type column, what you can do is you can use this JSON extract function to parse that JSON string and ask required columns from that JSON string. Okay. So similarly, you when you say JSON underscore, right? So 1 minute. So when you see select JSON, see here how many different JSON functions you have. So I want you to try all these functions, guys. Okay. So I want you to try all these functions. Okay. So JSON array append, JSON array insert, JSON extract, and then JSON extract scalar, JSON array, JSON extract string array. So I request you to go through all the functions. Okay. So here I'm explaining about JSON extract, which is commonly used function. So here I'm passing a JSON string. I'm passing a JSON string and I'm asking age from that JSON string. Okay. So here you can see 30. Okay. You can ask name also. Okay. You can ask name also. Okay. So this is how you actually can extract JSON related values. Okay. Now, if you extract it, see here, your John came in quotes, right? So you want to clean that also. So how you will do that? How you will do that? So you have replace function in SQL, right? So we have seen this in SQL Server, right? So you just try to simply replace it, right? So you will get the clean data. Okay. So you should know the functionality of each function and you should know where to use that function. It is not about by hearting all the functions, guys. Be very, very clear. When the use case was given, you should know how to utilize these functions, how to make use of these functions, and how to extract the required information or from the given raw data. Okay, that is the core goal here. Okay, so now we have seen replace and we have seen JSON extract, right? So let's move on to the next function, right? JSON extract array, right? JSON extract array. So what this function will do? This function will typically extract the array from your JSON. Okay, this function will typically extract an array from the JSON. Okay. Okay. So reminding everything is same, guys. I mean, aliasing. Let us say. Okay. So the aliasing and all remains same. So all the SQL things are same. Okay. So here, if you see from the JSON string, I want to extract a array field. Okay. I want to extract a array field. So in that case, you can actually go for JSON extract array so that it will detect the type of the value in the JSON and it will return it properly. Okay. So let us give it a try. What will happen if we do it with JSON extract, right? What will happen if we do it with JSON extract? It will give the data, but JSON extract doesn't detect its type. Be very, very clear. When you use JSON extract array, it immediately detected and given in the form of array, right? But your JSON extract is giving this data in the form of string, right? Guys, are we clear, or any questions or queries? I'm just giving a pause here. Are we clear to understand the functions, or any questions or queries? Okay. Okay, okay, fine. So let's proceed further. So we have seen multiple different functions today. So I don't want to confuse you. So I want you to go and explore what are all the different functions, right? What are all the different functions that you need, right? So you don't need to do any what I can say, spend much more time in creating tables and inserting data, guys. You just try to ask your chat GPT, right? So create a BigQuery table, right? So here, if you see, it will give you the table, okay? And you need data, right? Right? You don't need to explicitly do, your chat GPT can help you out with all the data, right? If you feel that this data is not sufficient, you can ask more, right? This is how you need to use your chat GPT or AI tools for your practice, also to do the smart practice, guys. Okay, it's not like every time you sit and once you got the understanding of how it works, then take help from your chat GPT on preparing your practice things, right? So it is very helpful, and it won't waste your time by using chat GPT. You don't waste your time in sitting and writing create statements, all the SQL statements, or whatever it is, insert statements. So you don't need to explicitly sit and write all these things. You can take help from your chat GPT, so that it will give you the exact things. Okay. So the functions also, you can ask your chat GPT to provide the JSON, or any kind of functions, and it will give examples. So I'm here to guide you guys. So we are in a generation where the AI is also helping humans, right? So I'm just guiding you to what to learn, or what to go for, right? So but it's ultimately it's your hard work or your smart work to practice them, and then to get sound knowledge in them. Okay. So I've discussed core concepts. If you're still didn't get any concept, you can actually go here and ask your chat GPT, explain me about, explain me about okay, your it will give with a proper use case also, right? So that is how you'll utilize your chat GPT. If you have any clarifications needed, or if you have any queries, you can go and talk to this chat GPT. It will give you good results, or good or accurate information for you. Okay. Fine. So that is that, and then let's move on to the next concept, and we will see one use case, right? So we will try to see one use case wherein how actually we can write queries in real time if we have JSON data, right? So here I'm actually creating a table called transactions, right? Here I'm actually creating a table called transactions. So I'm just placing it. So maybe I may have that the table already there. So let me give transactions, or else I will simply drop it. Okay. So your table got dropped, and I'm just recreating the table transactions under the data set called empdb. Okay. So now I created it. Now let us try to insert some data. So let us try to insert some data. See here, I'm doing the insert. Okay. So I'm inserting each transaction to it, or else I'll take all the insert statements. Okay. See here, I'm just doing the insert into table, and I have two columns in there, and I'm adding all the data. So ID column is of integer type, and JSON data is of string type. Okay. So now the data in my columns lies here like this. Okay. So I have a transactions key. Under the transactions key, I have a list type, which is actually list of JSONs again. Okay. Now under that, I have a type column and value column. Okay. Now I have type as sale, and I have type as refund also. Okay. I have type as sale, and I have type as refund. And again, so like that, I have different JSON elements. Each JSON inside the transactions is having two keys, type and value. Based on the type and value, so these dictionaries will be created. Okay. So guys, are we clear on the data part? Are we clear? So let me quickly query the transactions table. Okay, see here, this is your data, and your JSON data column is of string type. Okay, your JSON data column is of string type. Okay, so now what you will do? So you need to, you got a use case now. Okay, so this is your data, and now you got a use case. So what is that use case? Hey, give me the total sale amount for for each employee or for each ID. Okay, so for each transaction ID, what is the total sale amount? Meaning here for transaction, for one record, type sale is there and 100. Okay, similarly type refund is there and -50, and again type sale is there, value 200. So what is the total sale value? 200 plus 100, right? So total sale value is 200 plus 100, so 300. 300 is the total sale value. Now what is the refund value? 50. Total refund value is 50, right? Similarly for the second record, if you see, sale value is 300 for the first time, and then 150, and then refund one. So 300 plus 150, what it is, 450 is the sale value. Total sale happened. And similarly for the third record, what is their refund? -100 is there, and sale is 250. So there is no other sale activities happened. So only one sale activity happened, so it is 250. Okay, so for first record, it is total sale value is 100 plus 200, 300. Okay, like that, if you have another element in the transactions, another transaction happened with the sale, you need to pick that also. Okay, so this is the use case that you need to solve. So now how we will solve it, right? So the first and foremost thing that you need to do is you need to explode this array, right? You need to explode this array, meaning, so while working with array columns, while working with array type columns, you maybe get some use cases wherein you need to convert the array elements into records. Okay, you need to convert the array elements into records form. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Now this array is a single record, right? So in a single record, you have multiple elements that has been stored in the data structure or data type called array. Okay, but now I want to convert this array to records, right? Record by record. So in that scenario, we will use a function called explode. Okay, we'll use a function called explode. So that function, you should know that in normal SQL we'll use explode function, but in BigQuery we have a function called unnest. Okay, we have a function called unnest, which will convert your array records to the array elements to the records. Okay, now let us see how what do I actually mean, right? So here, if you see how we do unnest, select star from table name, comma, unnest of, okay, unnest of, what is that column name? So JSON data, okay, as item, or else we can say as data. Okay, so now you can get data in the here, ID comma data, or else I'll say item. Okay, item, item. So you unnested your array element, or else so here it is not array element, right? So you, for unnest, you need to pass array element only. Now the JSON data is still in the string format, right? So what you need to do, you need to extract the value of transactions. The value of transactions is an array. Okay, so you need to use your known JSON functions, JSON underscore extract underscore array of JSON data. Okay, now what is the column name? What is the element name that is having array type data? So you need to provide that dollar dot transactions. Okay, so now when you do this, what will happen? Your unnest function will allow only the array data, okay, as input. Now what you are doing, you are taking your JSON data string column, okay, and you are selecting the transactions from that string call, so from that JSON. Once you select the transactions, what will happen? Your array that is there for the transactions key will be sent to your unnest. Okay, unnest. Now when you do this, so it will try to execute and give you the item results. Okay, see here, right? So why I didn't get one? I not inserted, is it? Okay. So you need to understand the functionality, guys. So here if you see, you have 1, 2, and 3. So you okay, so previously also it is there, but I maybe wrongly inserted. Yeah. So the thing is, your each element in that array got converted to your record. Okay, previously when we see a array type column or array type data, you were seeing a single row, right? Now the elements are converted, or elements has been converted to records. Okay, that is the functionality of your unnest function. Now your each record is coming. Okay, now the thing is, you need to pass this again. So JSON, your item is JSON now, right? So JSON underscore extract of item, comma, dollar dot. So from this JSON, what I need type, right? So as type, comma, again I need value, right? As value. Okay, so now when you do this, unexpected string literal dollar type. Okay, so this is comma actually, so we have to, okay. So when you do this, you'll try to extract the proper data into the records, right? Okay, so now you, for one record you may see duplicates because I inserted it twice. Okay, so you see all the types and values came into your records, right? So now when you have it, so the next step is, what is the final outcome that we need to achieve, guys? So from this, you need to calculate the total sale, right? You need to calculate the total sale that happened for each ID. How you will calculate, guys? Anybody? This is your data, okay, which is having ID, type, value, and I want to calculate the total sale that happened for each ID. When I say total
Um,
sale, it should calculate the sum of only the type sale.
based on count of for that column,
Count of that column.
no, some
some
aggregate.
aggregate sum.
Okay, okay. Sum of this column. Okay. What do we need to do? If we do only sum, it will come.
In where class we have to place the type as sale and then group by ID comma type.
Okay. ID common type.
In the select we have to place ID comma
Okay.
sum of value. And the above query should be in a sub query.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So sum of value. Here you'll say where JSON extract of type. equals to
sale.
sale, and then
And
in the
sale should
outside,
be sale should be like in the double quotes, right? Double quotes.
yes. Okay, in the outside, I'm just saying group by.
Group by ID.
Okay, so this is the query. So let me quickly run it and see. Okay, so the value that you are getting is of string type, so you need to cast it. Okay, so when you want to do some kind of formatting to your queries, you just select the query, go to more and format your query so that it will give you the formatted query. Okay. So formatted query meaning is so it will place your query in this format. Okay. So for one, if you see more because it has duplicates. Okay. So this is how on a functionality standpoint you need to execute your queries based on the functionality of your functions, guys. You should know where to use what function, right? So that's what I just want to show it to you. So these are a few functions, and there are a lot of other functions also, right? So you need to go and practice them, right? So I think we are left with UDFs and views concept. Okay, so we'll discuss that on Sunday. We'll have one more session on Sunday, so that I'll complete BigQuery part on Sunday. Okay, so that is all I have for today, guys. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, fine. So we'll discuss that on Sunday, guys. So the remaining concepts in BigQuery we'll try to discuss, and we'll complete all of them on Sunday. From Monday we will give a fresh start on data proc. Okay, so we'll discuss about data proc service. So before going to discuss data proc, we have to discuss Spark. Okay, so we'll spend couple of days or 3 to 4 days in Spark, and then we will jump into the data proc. Okay, so once we complete the data proc, then we will see cloud functions. Okay, then we will go for workflow. That's where we'll complete our sessions. So we're left with only three services. One is data proc, cloud functions, and workflow. Okay, fine. That's all I have for today, guys. So thank you so much for joining once again on Sunday. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.